Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Conley, in West Virginia, our economy relies very heavily on international exports of our natural resources and manufacturing products. How does the lack of the American presence in the Arctic have negative consequences on our trade interests?
Congresswoman, there are certainly economic opportunities that the Arctic presents in both shipping of and exporting goods, as well as what we call destinational shipping, which is countries that are going to the Arctic to get mineral and energy resources and taking them back to market. So I would argue for the citizens of West Virginia, increasing safe and secure trade and transshipment is potentially a very positive development for U.S. economic growth. We are challenged by two things, and this gets back to the lack of ratification for the Law of the Sea Treaty. We cannot, in the Arctic, potentially mine the seabed because we are not signatories and have not ratified it. And we cannot extend our outer continental shelf because we aren't ratifying. We are losing opportunities for economic investment in the Arctic region, which would benefit all American citizens, and we are not able to protect and ensure the safe and secure transit of those goods, either energy or exported goods, if we do not have the appropriate infrastructure to safely do it.
That sort of answers my next question on what Congress could do to help alleviate the issue.
So what is so important is that we understand the Arctic as a national imperative. I think many times if we think about the Arctic, we may think about simply Alaska's needs for infrastructure, but this is a whole of nation effort. If we want to grow the American economy and jobs, we need to think of the Arctic as something of enhancing our prosperity, but we also have to do it in a secure and stable way that protects America's exclusive economic zone, our territorial waters, and our coastline. So it's sovereignty, it's enhancing American prosperity, but we can only do that with a much more emboldened presence in the Arctic. Our competitors understand the strategic value of the Arctic. We have forgotten it.
Thank you. Mr. Treadwell, a deep water port in the Arctic is imperative, as you've mentioned, for American trade to compete in the region. What progress has been made to develop this port infrastructure? Have we done things to identify, and are we helping to facilitate doing such a thing?
Well, the answer is we haven't done enough, and I'll put it this way. There is a Port Clearance Council, which has been established to try to develop an economic plan for port clearance. It was established by Congress, and it set it up between the state of Alaska and Bering Straits Native Corporation. The Coast Guard and the Corps of Engineers have been cooperating with that council as they've done their work. The City of Nome has been working with the Corps of Engineers on applicability there for appropriations under an upcoming Water Act. The Congress has asked the military to look at the military needs for a port, and I'll just say with some experience around here that when you ask an agency to say what it needs, if it actually says what it needs, then they're told to pay for it. So you're not exactly seeing everything that I hoped we would see with some of this legislation. But the fact is, I believe there's enough on the record right now for Congress to find that it would be absurd for us to go into a brand new ocean, newly accessible to the world, and not have a deep water port of refuge, and not have a port which could have us play a role in assisting shipping and transshipping. And frankly, as we do that, not doing it with a way to have a tariff or some sort of revenue source to help pay for it.
Thank you.